I'm Doug Massey, and today I'm gonna go over like everything that you need as a beginner to prepare yourself and get started in the life insurance industry as a contracted and independent life insurance agent. And I'm even gonna go over everything from like licensing to finding the right agency to work with, picking the right carriers, underwriting, and even leads and lead vendors. And I do ask that you like this video, and we do suggest subscribing if you're a new viewer. We're putting out new insurance agent sales content and final expense sales training videos just like this all the time. When it comes to licensing, I highly recommend that you get the life, health, and annuity license in your resident state. So this is going to give you more options in case you decide to go to the health side or add into the senior market later, which most agents end up doing. As someone who has had separate licenses, I really do believe that this license is just as easy as like the simple life test. It really is. It's not much more. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to get the free new agent telesales file, which has sales materials that you're definitely going to want to use for selling final expense life insurance remotely from the luxury of your own home. As far as non-resident licenses are concerned, I do recommend asking the person that you're contracting through what states that you should purchase. Now, I know that we only target like specific states, and we've got like this short list, and it tends to change every now and then too. So the idea is we don't want you getting a bunch of states only to find out you just wasted money on licenses that you'll never use. When it comes to picking an agency to work through, I recommend staying away from those multi-level marketing insurance agencies. Guys, if you don't know, these are the ones that have the group meetings where they tend to suggest that you start recruiting and building a downline agency before you're even a professional closer. Some of them will tell you like immediately bring friends and family. Others say, well, as you get better, start doing that. But that's the whole deal. That is the sign, the big sign of an MLM. Just do your due diligence and beware if you contract through the wrong agency, one of these, and it ends up being one that doesn't release you, which is like all of them, you're gonna be in a world of hell of your own making. Do your research on anybody you're considering working with. My personal experience with the multi-level marketing insurance agencies has really taught me a lot. And it showed me that most of them are using outdated and completely unethical sales practices. And basically, they've got this, you're either with us or against us attitude once you mention the word releases. Something else to consider is whether you're a business owner type of personality, you know, that's where your mindset is, or you're a typical employee, you know, that's what you've always done. If you don't have thousands of dollars put aside for your insurance business, trust me guys, working as a fully independent agent who is in charge of buying or generating his or her own leads is pretty much gonna fail. You have almost 0% chance of making this work, and it most likely will end up with you in debt. Now, on the other hand, if you are a talented, top-tier professional sales pro, and you've got the money set aside for your insurance business, you know, because you're fiscally responsible, and you've got the mindset of a business owner, going independent under a platform like the one we have and a lot of other agencies have, might actually be something to consider. As like with us, I know we generate like 10 to over 20 appointments per day for our agents, for each agent, you know, assuming, again, you have the bankroll to cover it. Again, there are several companies just like ours that also have a free lead side, and for most agents, I would say that's usually the best way to go. When you do your research, dig in. Find out as much information as possible about that company's training. Everyone says they got great training. However, the industry standard for training life insurance agents is pretty poor. Before moving on, let me touch on one more very important note about finding the right agency. This is my opinion. Most agencies are outdated, and most agencies do use outdated sales methods and lead sources. Your typical modern and up-to-date insurance agency has their own leads that they generate for their agents. So you don't have to waste money on buying leads from a lead vendor, you know, trying to figure out where the good leads are. They also, and we're talking about agencies, have the right carriers along with an effective sales system or platform that actually works for people who can sell. With that being said, learning how to sell is part of the process. If you don't have like accolades and or awards for selling, you're most likely not a professional salesperson yet. If you want any level of success with life insurance sales or final expense sales, you're going to need to become a pro first. Work on yourself. Read books on building rapport, overcoming objections, and closing sales for sure. Learn your trade and become a professional, or you're gonna most likely just end up being another failure statistic. And going back to finding a good agency, the reason that I like the idea of being an independent agent versus a captive agent is that you'll likely be limited to very few products if you end up working with a company like Lincoln Heritage or Senior Life of Georgia. Now, there's nothing wrong with starting out with these companies. Either one of them, both of them can be good for the right person. However, in the long run, I kind of feel like they most likely just end up being like a stepping stone for like most life insurance agents, especially career agents. The pros of starting out with one of these companies is that they both have a super short and simple application process. Not a lot of moving parts. And as a new agent, you don't have to learn like multiple application processes like you do as an independent life insurance agent. As far as being independent, the carriers that I really like for final expense and life insurance sales are Mutual of Omaha, American Amicable, that's actually my favorite, American Amicable, Guarantee Trust Life, and SBLI, Savings Bank Mutual Life Insurance Company. You also have like Royal Neighbors and AIG for guaranteed issue. All these companies have a pretty basic application process that has multiple signature options for the clients to use, and that's really, really important, especially if you're specializing in remote final expense and or life insurance sales. Some carriers do have a sandbox and others do not. And the sandbox is like a way of practicing sending up an application. So the idea is you've already done it over and over before your first day, with a live client. And to me, that's extremely important. The last thing that you're gonna wanna do is fumble and bumble your way during that first few applications. The clients are gonna sense that you're an amateur, and they're either gonna cancel shortly after they buy, because they're gonna get buyer's remorse, or they're just gonna hang up on you during the process. So yes, being prepared is very important, and no training in the world is going to prepare you better than you simply walking through the process of this sale over and over and over before you do it live with your very first client. Don't try to wing your presentation. In other words, use a presentation script that has a proven record of success, and don't just try to make it up as you go. I had an agent once say to me, well, I don't do presentation scripts. My answer was, well, I don't work with you. No one's going to buy from you if you don't sound like you know what you're doing, and I want to say if you're not a professional sounding salesperson. Client retention is very important and is really where you're going to want to do a lot of work. Unfortunately, I feel like this is something that isn't spoken of. It's not talked about enough by the insurance agencies, and client retention is actually your key to success. Once you make the sale, that's when the work begins. Remember, you're being advanced money that you haven't earned, and that literally does not belong to you until the client has, made payments through that advanced 6 months or 9 months worth of advanced monies. You'll want to use a good CRM to keep track of all your clients, and a good dialer system that allows you to work smarter and not harder. We use Go High Level, and we use Kixie for the dialer. Guys, I love the idea of using automations like birthday reminders, automatic holiday greetings. I totally suggest that you send out a welcome packet to each client you sell. And yes, make sure you do this through the regular US mail and not just email. These thank you cards, or a note like with your information on it, and maybe even like your photo and a business card with a brochure, should be considered mandatory when you first start, like right from your first day. Thing is, I really believe there's something to be said about getting an envelope in the regular US mail that it kind of helps the client feel better about their decision to purchase the life insurance, which really helps you to lock in the sale. So a little bit more about persistence. When there is an issue with the client's payment, you really need to do like everything possible to fix that. Keep your client active. When you get people that cancel, again, you have to do every single thing possible. Try as hard as you can to save those and keep those clients active. And guys, I know that this is basic sales 101 to most of us, but if you're new, you may not have heard this, or may not have heard this enough. If you just let clients cancel and you don't fight for each and every single one of your sales, you're gonna most likely end up in debt instead of having any success. If you'd like a copy of the free New Agent Telesales file that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on working with us on our free leads platform or the independent agent calendar appointments platform, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now get out there and whatever happens, make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.